So we got cheaters are just
Ladies
exposing
and
Call of Duty, and I think this is by
gentlemen.
Immortal, by the way.
How you doing? Welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for stopping by. We know, obviously, one of the main issues, one of the largest issues in Call of Duty right now is the cheaters. And it's sort of a compounding issue. The cheaters are an issue, but then also the whole system regarding the cheaters is an issue. Ricochet is an anti-cheat, severely underperforms, half the time doesn't even feel like it's in the game.
True.
The elements of Ricochet that do feel like they're in the game, though, are also incredibly broken in the form of shadow bans and voice comm bans. The entire system needs a drastic overhaul, and unfortunately, we don't have good news on that yet. In fact, we have even more not so great news, because cheaters have again made Call of Duty look very just not great. That's the best way to put it, right?
Nice,
They have kind of
nice,
exposed
well done,
Call of
well
Duty
said.
yet again. This is far from the first time this has happened, especially as of late, but that's just kind of the state of Warzone and Black Ops 6 and Call of Duty as a whole right now. There needs to be something much more drastic done to combat cheaters, and all we've gotten so far is the blog post from a few days back detailing that we'll see some major updates to the kernel level driver and server side protections in Season 2, which isn't until the end of January, in Season 3, which might not be till late February, early March, right?
Which is weird because they can't even say it won't happen till end of January, because we know they're on vacation, and by the time end of January comes, they're like, oh, it's delayed still. So it doesn't make sense.
Some time before we see anything significant there. But the newest update here that is not great stems from, well, a cheater somehow on Twitter. So there's been a whole thing going on lately where players who are obviously legitimate are getting shadow banned. This was quote tweeted a couple of times, and basically what ended up getting responded in one of these threads was this image here from this Twitter user, first name bunch of numbers, right? And it's a picture
First
of
name and bunch of numbers. Is that what he
from
just
this
said?
Twitter user,
Oh, yeah,
first
he
name
did.
bunch of
He did.
numbers, right? And it's a picture of their hack menu currently open in Warzone. So much for the kernel level driver that's actively going on in Ricochet, because the person clearly
Shame.
has the game open in the background, and hey, look at that, a cheat menu that is not kicking them off the game for having it open. So real great detections going on there, but they're showing off this this menu
insane.
here in their cheat menu that actually shows that you can submit 1 million reports on a player, right? So not only can cheaters beat you with their aim hacks and their aim bot and their wall hacks and everything else going on, their spin bot, this, that, whatever
Their
else.
spin bot.
Now, this is far from the first time this has happened, but it's back yet again. On top of all of that, they have a way to beat you with the actual anti-cheat itself by submitting reports to a person, anyone they want in the lobby, for the typical stuff: cheating, offensive text, offensive voice, which if you get reported for that, even if you don't say anything, it automatically comm bans you because the system is so broken.
Yeah, it doesn't even work.
Text spam, or send all 100 times.
Which is stupid,
and
though.
Call of Duty has repeatedly said that spam reports don't do anything.
Well,
The
this
fact that
does.
this cheat, though, has been used in BO6 Warzone, there's clips of it out there showing players getting shadow banned because of it, would say otherwise. And as Modern Warzone quotes and reports here, cheaters can send 100 reports at once to get legit players shadow banned in Call of Duty. Now, this is an issue that has happened before, as I mentioned. So Charlie Intel ends up basically posting the same information here, saying there is apparently a hack available that is allowing cheaters to send 100 plus in-game reports of a player in Call of Duty, which is causing players to get shadow banned in
And this has
Warzone
only
and Black
happened
Ops
this
6. Now,
season,
for
or
what it's
this
worth,
year
we
with
already
COD.
know that it takes very few reports, whether they are legitimate reports or just angry reports, to get someone shadow banned. This has been an issue since they introduced the shadow ban system back in Warzone 1 of players who are legitimate
reading
getting
early, but I'm
falsely
not
shadow
gonna
banned,
read-
and
say it
basically
just yet.
they're unable to play the game for at minimum a week's time, right? Which sucks. I've raised this issue in several videos saying this needs to be adjusted. This system is broken. This system is abused. And the fact that there's now a hack for it, or that this hack has sort of rejuvenated and revitalized itself somehow here in BO6, and it's back yet again, serves as another point of emphasis. There is not enough being done to combat cheaters.
Very
Isaac
true.
here
It's-
ends up
okay,
responding
he does
saying
say
this
it.
was a thing back in Al Mazrah 2, maybe even as early as Caldera.
Which I don't remember it being in Al Mazrah and Caldera. I'll be honest. I don't remember this unless it was that time where when I was playing it didn't happen, and then when I wasn't playing it was happening. I don't know. And I know the world doesn't revolve around what I do, but it just seems like when I was on, it wasn't a thing. So
I don't know if anyone has
Weird.
the old tweets, but we've seen pics of cheaters dashboard for the report 100 times years ago. COD's still sticking with their beloved shadow ban system though, and Charlie Anto responds with exactly what I was just talking about. Oh, that's good. Activision still insists that spam reports do not do anything, but clearly they do. And it may not be a situation of every single time one individual spam reports someone that guarantees a shadow ban. It could be a squad. Let's say, for instance, I've used this as an example before because I've seen it happen in game. If you wipe a squad and let's say you just absolutely thrashed them, you broke their ankies, you embarrassed them, they don't like it, they don't like the fact that you destroyed them, they might know that you're a legitimate player who's just very good. If all 4 of them say, hey, this dude, we don't like him, he just trashed us, let's all just report him for cheating and exploiting and see what happens. And all 4 players send that report.
It's almost like they're tormenting everyone else just for
that legitimate
fun.
Player could be shadow banned
it's just
simply
regular
because
people that are
someone
doing this.
didn't like him. You do not have to have a reason to report somebody in this game, obviously. Anytime you get a kill cam, you can open up the menu, and if you click that report button, there's a decent chance that if you do it, maybe one other person does it, another person does it, that other player could get easily shadow banned without any actual legitimate reason. And
there was a video not too long ago, I think it was before the Black Ops 6 integration, and this guy was like, he was being interviewed for like he played a game, and then this guy who was in his lobby, you know, invite him to his lobby. He's like, so are you cheating or no? He's like, well, yeah, because, you know, everyone else is doing it and I get tired of it, so I might as well just do it too, and it's made life easier. And he's like, well, I turn it on and off every now and then, but like it's on. So the fact that even people who get hacked on or get cheated on by other cheaters end up cheating themselves is kind of, it's a full circle moment.
Then they're in the shadow ban system, which we know is incredibly flawed. All right, so post-edit Zach here. Shortly after I had recorded this, we got a slight anti-cheat update this morning that I covered in today's first video. And in this, COD Updates actually addresses the accusation that spam reporting has an impact in game. And this is what they say. As a reminder, spam reporting of any kind does not impact a player's in-game standing.
Cap.
They say that, but I feel like we have enough in-game evidence of this happening that it's hard to fully believe that. Just my 2 cents. Whether one player reports someone once or 1,000 times, our system only considers the first report and throttles repeated reports. Users that attempt to spam report will have their account actioned on in accordance with the security and enforcement policy. We have recently banned over 8,000 accounts for malicious reporting. So this is, I would imagine, having to do some with these cheats that allow you to send thousands of reports or hundreds of reports at a time, like the cheat that we're discussing in this video. But the shadow ban system in general is still incredibly broken, and I think this is an appropriate time to highlight just how flawed this system is. So I still want to continue with this discussion, despite the fact that COD Update says, hey, spam reporting as a whole technically shouldn't work, although, like I said, I don't know if that's fully functioning as intended. It has been the case for years that in the shadow ban system, one, there's basically no way to get out of it directly. If you are a legitimate player in the shadow ban system, you have to wait it out. That's essentially the only actual quote-unquote solution to combating it. You have to go through, wait your week, typically is the time for it, 7 days after you got shadow banned, and you'll get out of that limited matchmaking state, right? And then you're back into normal lobbies, you can play the game again. However, there's also this reported trust score on your account, essentially, like a credit score, for instance, where if you get shadow banned, that trust score gets lowered. And keep in mind, this isn't actually a confirmed thing that the devs have said, yes, this is how it works. This is just seemingly an example of how the system works, right? Sort of bringing the example to life in a sense. But your trust score gets lowered on your account, and then when you're out of that shadow ban, initially, you play another game. Let's say, again, you're a good player, you trash somebody, you absolutely destroy them, they report
you. Have a trust score, but if you mistakenly get shadow banned, doesn't that mean you should be unshadow banned pretty quick? Like, if you don't report every single game you're in, doesn't that mean if you get reported even one time, you should not be banned immediately because you just haven't been reported, right? You haven't been reported before, you haven't spam reported prior to. So how does that make sense?
It's now easier to get shadow banned again because that trust score is lowered, and there's no real way to technically improve that trust score like you would a credit score, right? You're just at the mercy of the system, and the system is wildly flawed, it is easily abused, and it is incredibly broken. So you get stuck then in a shadow ban loop. You might be able to play 1 or 2 matches, but then if you get reported again, unfortunately, you jump right back in. And all Call of Duty has ever done to address this is say, hey, spam reports, if you report somebody 10 times, that's not going to do anything. And in fact, it's actually against the TOS, so something might happen to you. But that's been proven to be false, because since they released that blog detailing that spam reports don't work, these hacks have resurfaced time and time again, as recent as now, where a cheater can just spam report anyone they want 100 times, and there's a decent chance that that person then gets banned because of it. So not only can cheaters ruin your gameplay and take you out with aimbots and with wall hacks and all that, but they could actually now abuse the anti-cheat to a point where they also use the anti-cheat against you. That is...
Isn't it crazy how they have a backdoor to the anti-cheat, even though Call of Duty is saying our anti-cheat is working?
Such a bad look for Call of Duty. And
it's
I referenced
true,
it as being a compound issue beforehand, where the cheaters are their own problem because the anti-cheat is so broken, but then the parts of the anti-cheat that are actually in effect in the game, those also don't work. On top of that, though, you also have basically no trust in the Call of Duty community, right? Because cheaters are so bad, because the anti-cheat is so bad, you're now in this situation with Call of Duty where you see a kill cam, and keep in mind, kill cams are also not accurate.
Yeah, always pay attention to your kill cams, by the way.
Servers in Warzone, at least, where gunfights don't ever feel super consistent, and a lot of times they just don't feel...
Not just consistent, but you don't get credit for the kills that was your kill in the first place. Like, if you're shooting someone and your teammate shoots, right, they get the credit for it even though you downed them. It doesn't...
real at all, right? Because something so strange happens. There's already very minimal trust,
bug,
and because of the lack of information in-game with 20 hertz servers and bad kill cams, you then see that and it's like, wait a second, that kill cam looked really suspicious. You know, audio in this game is super inconsistent.
And it's slightly
maybe
off,
the
right?
other person
V-sync
heard
and
you,
all, but...
maybe they didn't. They're pre-aiming you. It's like, what's going on here?
Yeah.
The kill cams at times are sped up, so a simple like motion left to center on somebody actually looks like it's an instantaneous snap. So it's like, well, wait a second, is that guy aimbotting? What's going on here? There's so little trust in the Call of Duty community amongst other players. There's so much misinformation in the game because of the bad servers, the inaccurate kill cams, the inconsistent fights, that reports go out like crazy. So even if it's not a hacker directly going through and sending 100 reports to somebody, you also now have the community just constantly reporting each other because there's no faith in each other. There's no trust in the other community members to not potentially be cheating, because cheating is so rampant and because things look so strange in game at all times. So this is just issue on issue on issue on issue that leads to this terrible system, this really bad state of Call of Duty, and this complete lack of trust in the community. The whole thing is just a mess, and I'm genuinely concerned that the only actual information that we have on this is that major fixes, which have yet to be detailed, are coming in a month to 3 months time.
Not enough.
It's too long.
It's too late.
This game is going to continue to drop player after player after player after player by the tens, hundreds, thousands because of these issues, and it just doesn't seem like anything's being done. Maybe they do a little bit more once the devs are fully back from holiday break and there's no interruptions.
I don't think they're going to do anything.
No more like major holiday breaks.
It could be wrong,
Thanksgiving,
but
Christmas, New Year's, everything going on there.
I don't know.
That's what we can hope for, right? But until we see something actually done, until we see action taken, there's just not a whole lot of faith here, which really sucks.
By the way, he just
I want to
killed
be able
the
to
worst.
jump in a COD.
He just killed the player with the worst gun.
Not be cheated on, not be spam reported by either community members who, at this point, just don't believe anything other than it's a cheater who kills them, or somehow by an actual hacker abusing a system that has been patched before and told doesn't work, yet there's examples of it doing it. So bad situation. Again, kind of the common theme for COD right now. It sucks. Hopefully things do trend in a better direction in the new year. Time will tell, though. Of course, I'll be sure to keep you guys in the loop for everything going on in COD, whether it's good, bad, in between. All the latest news, updates, meta breakdowns, everything COD related is here on a daily basis. So feel free to hit that subscribe button, join us on the road to 1 million subs. And if you enjoyed this video, you want to get more attention on this topic, maybe eventually get a response out of them because we keep reinforcing something needs to be done. A like rating is the best way to do that. It really does help share the video around. But once again, thank you so much for tuning in, and until next time, take it easy, have an awesome rest of your day, and I'll catch you later. Peace.
Do you think if we not spam reported, but like sent an email or whatever, like when they have contact us on their site, on Activision site and Treyarch site and whatever, if we sent them, like, if each individual who plays this game who is tired of people cheating, we just sent a thing saying, fix your game, like, just something along the lines of, hey, we need updates more consistently, we need something better than this. Like, do you think they would actually be in touch more, or would they kind of just send out more PR tweets, posts, to the community? Because they know the community loves this game, but when the community drops a lot, it has to be like red lights and things going off to say something's wrong, right? But when cheaters are doing what they're doing, and there are more websites that give these kind of cheats for any game, I'm gonna put it out there. It sucks. It kind of defeats the whole purpose of anyone having fun. But we just gotta wait and see what COD will have to say and do at the end of the day, right? So we'll wait it out. We'll wait it out.